If your brain speaks 5 languages, which one do you listen to when fear shows up? You know this moment. You see the crowd, the landscape, the person, the singularity of one event, and you don't go for it. Today I really wanted to show you how I perceive and act upon this fear of people's opinion. Most of the time, whether you're a paint, an illustrator, a craftsman, a filmmaker or a photographer, you don't need to work so much on your art, but rather on your life. And by that I mean this little voice that can either boost your life up or completely sabotage it. So if you're like me, you're probably ambitious, but also sometimes very time poor, fighting overthinking, fear others' judgment, and struggling with what we call the impostor syndrome. And it's not surprising on the planet that is that open as today. The good news is, if you're just like 80% of artists that are just lacking of clarity, that's exactly what prevents you to create meaningful habits on a day-to-day basis. And I know what you feel when guilt knocks to the door. Am I gonna do something useful today, or am I gonna remain as I was yesterday? And I believe right now it's time to switch that up. And in this video I want to share my worldview, my action models, or how I reframe my limiting beliefs and give microsystem that spark that momentum that we're all seeking for when it comes to shining into art. Nothing is fundamentally based on one single event, but on a set of actions shaping our vision, what Simon Sinek calls our why. For me, it's to reflect this divine light that allows us to shine on a daily basis, and it can be through a smile, a playful attitude, small attentions, laughters, or genuine connection with multiple cultures. What blocks me to be aligned fully with my vision is almost always about what I believe, my perspective on life, the scary reality of obtaining a yes that is often turned into a perpetual inner dialogue of "E se gli no? Tanto vado tempo. E se mi equivoco? Non è perfetto. Scimdi del." Switching language shifts my state, but not my decision. A system changes my decision, a system that really lowers down the barrier of friction to act. Because how many times we build pressure around a single thing, like reading a book, for example, but we're approaching it to change our state internally. However, we don't make any claim or take decision about what may help us to move forward. So we undoubtedly need to act and oftentimes change our previous system into something that fits much better with our personality or the lifestyle we have. So there is no video that would change the course of your action. It would just feed your need to be informed, but it will not really bring any discipline or romantize the process to make it enjoyable for you specifically. Romantizing is what will give gravity to your art. It will reflect the unique story you want to share. It feels like your life become a movie where you choose the colors, textures, shapes, composition, pace, and the mood you wish to instill. And it starts with a belief. I had a friend that said once to me, when there is a fork on the road, take it. And this decision switch must be taken first by defining the real stake, like what's truly at play if you act and if you don't. Especially if you don't act, what are you exposing yourself to? And there is always things we must do or have to, but what if we decide that we desire something and we deserve it? Taking on the responsibility to change our belief system from obligation to desire. Leonardo da Vinci illustrated by saying, "I love those who can smile in trouble." One tiny irreversible action that will make artists blossom. Whenever I take any photos, it's not so much about aesthetics, but it's more about connection. I don't want to distract my subject. I want to immerse it into my lens, and even before asking for any portrait, smile, listen, and connection are the main components. So for any stake, there is a tiny irreversible action. Mine is to step in, smile, listen to a story and connect and shoot eventually. Beliefs are pure stories we tell ourselves, was saying Paul Pironet. So better tell stories that moves us towards what we desire. Our view on anything are highly swayed by what we believe. Quite frankly, from the place we live in, our relationships, the food we eat, our houses, and also today the content that we consume. It is high nurturing or relevant pieces of information, but it can also be just junk informations to entertain ourselves, keeping our attention in this endless loop of doom scrolling and numbing. We should be conscious that all those inputs defines the majority of what we believe about who we are. And Gestalt therapy, for example, has revealed that we judge ourselves by how much we consider it and clarify our needs, and most importantly, answer them. So it's about how much we consider the inputs to maximize the quality of the outputs. The more we recognize our needs, whether it's a good night of sleep, a long session of deep work, a genuine and transparent conversation with our partner, the more we become proactive by energizing our body and mind, and as a result become more creative with the number of options to make up the best decision possible. To sum that up, it will be trigger leads to belief, that leads to behavior, that leads to result. It's a new frame of positive beliefs that influence our own self-esteem. That's where we should take a hard look at how we talk to ourselves internally. Thus, are we mentally agitated and stressed, having always those beliefs coming up like, I'm not competent enough, or I don't deserve to become a successful artist, I don't know enough things, I'm not interesting enough or legitimate in my field, learning is a long and tedious process, and so on. So one of the first ways to become a more dignified artist is to look at what we also consume. So what kind of people / digital content creator we surround ourselves with, because it matters the most. Like, it's just crippling to keep feeding those relationships, digital relationships that create almost a feeling of numbing and inner agitation, isn't it? Also, treating social media as a friend can be positive or negative. Most of us just consume, and as a result, there is no more benefits to keep those social media activated. The reframe that make the swap is not to consider that waste of time as an opportunity to get inspired and choose carefully more and more the content we consume. So a thoughtful process of research, as if every book, film, photo is an experience that will enrich our current beliefs. So it must respect yourself to the highest degree, where you just pull your attention towards an healthy direction. For me, it feels almost like being Steve McCurry back in the 80s, where I carefully choose my film to shoot mindful portraits and cultural scenes around the globe, making thorough research about weather conditions, lighting, composition, and architecture of the place, for example, that I would travel in. It feels very authentic, like the carpenter choosing the best wood before carving his piece of art. So whenever you find yourself in a place of overconsumption that triggers any spark, whether it's music, books, film, social media, you create a negative beliefs of avoidance, thinking, I'm not bothered, I'm not important. And this is where reframing your map through a strong positive belief is key. So I matter, and I offer what I have that is most valuable to my next encounter and to the next person I'm gonna meet. Stimulating that beauty and self-inspiration is like carving the rock of your character. It will create momentum for a new loop with conscious and desired result. That reframe is also to be more present about what's around us. It's about shutting down distraction or artificial sounds or music for the natural sounds and manifestation of the nature. Listening to the birds singing, the sound of leaves blowing in the wind, our footsteps caressing on the grass. All of that is leading us closer to the fireworks of creativity popping up in our mind. I promise, sometimes it's just a single sequence of life turning an ordinary situation into an original idea. Like I experimented in Mexico, reframing my belief about Mexican people changed my whole experience, my whole documentary. I was no longer wary or suspicious. I was approaching, on the contrary, any person with an exceptional inclusiveness and goodwill, turning a single thought like everyone can be dangerous or threat into I cherish and I bless those people with awareness and love. And I guarantee that living this reframe through an emotional paradigm has been a game changer in the pursuit of my good art and connection with people. Same place, same me, a new belief, new result. Not that these new positive beliefs are anchored, your mind is not buzzing. The spark of clarity is moving you in a defined direction. It can be the lens of a camera pointing at the subject, the pencil grazing the paper, the brush that looks at the canvas like a mirror, the singer that dances with mic, or the dancer savoring the heat of the dance floor. Whatever is your art, this regaining of one's attention is the gateway of your alignment with intention and the foundation of a coherent identity nurtured with consistency and purpose. You're not just a photographer, a filmmaker, a painter, or a dancer. You're the embodiment of a singular and unique character that served the world, that served the planet, your audience, or clients. So pressing the shutter is for me a far more meaningful purpose than capturing the moment. It's a romantic dance of delight, burning the film to reveal a majestic juncture between my subject and his surrounding. My photography is made to serve the encounter, to serve the person that I'm gonna meet. Nothing can be learned if it doesn't serve this microcosm of life through consistent identity that acts upon beautiful values and positive beliefs, reinforcing each and every routine on a daily basis. To sum that up, you don't need monk mods, new methods of productivities, books, magazines, courses. You only need to create alignment from the top of your pyramid to the lowest point. And these only will enable you to create the routine and the romance of a life aligned with purpose and joy. And I think most importantly, to sustain it. So what you observe, hear, taste, or feel is what you create those enchanting experiences of. Meditative walks, silence in the room, coffee on the balcony, and so on, or milestones enriching your ideas, your art, and eventually outstanding piece of content. So that's precisely where even pure mathematics is, in its way, the poetry of logical ideas, as Albert Einstein quoted. Thank you for watching this video. That was Lucas. Ciao.